God damn it. Anyway, we would just trim it later.
Yeah.
But thought I'd give a quick update and a short video as to how to get started with Easy As Organics with our living soil. And it's a simple process, so I thought I'd just share with you the recommendations. So I'm going to fill a 45 litre fabric pot with our soil. We like fabric pot, it air prunes the roots so you can get a nice fibrous larger root mass for the size of the container that it is. They're great for living soil. I'm going to top dress at the end with some worm castings, and I'm going to water it before I plant with this water that I've let sit out for 24 hours, just straight out of the tap. You can leave it sit for 24 hours to help the chlorine evaporate, so that when you water your living soil, you're protecting the microorganisms in the soil. So let's get started. So I'm just going to open a bag of soil. There's a trick to this, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Just rip the stitching open, like so. You can see here we've got some beautiful rich humusy soil. It's actually quite a good moisture content already. This batch was made not too long ago, so it's got plenty of moisture in it already, so we might not have to actually water it too much to get it up to where we want it. So let's just get it into our pot. Remember to recycle your bag when you're done. Totally recyclable. Put that there. And just lightly let it settle. Don't compact. Letting it settle is fine. Put the bag in. Yeah, it's a rich living soil, very nutrient dense, biologically active. So your plants can take whatever nutrients they need from the soil when they need it through biological, natural processes. All we have to do is water it. Probably enough. You want to leave a bit of space between the top of the pot and where the soil layer is to allow for some top dressing. If you want to top dress with some worm castings halfway through the grow cycle to boost microbes and humic substances and all the goodies you get from worm castings, or if you make your own compost, you can do it with that. And also mulch, because you definitely want to mulch soil. It's a very important thing. That'll help keep the moisture even, and the goal of all of this is to provide a stable and consistent environment for both your plant and the microbes within the soil. Now we're going to water it. And again, I'm doing this before I've planted into it or done anything else. So the first thing, I'm going to take the water. I've got a 2 litre. It's 1.5. It's close to 2 litres. And once I get up to there, it's about just under 2 litres of water. And I'm just going to pretty slowly. Best to be patient during this stage. Just get the soil to take the water. You can see it start to pull up a bit. Maybe just wait a minute or two for it to absorb and wick all that moisture. If I go too fast, it might end up going all the way through the bottom of the pot. You don't want that. You want it to absorb all the moisture. bucket of water here. This is the moisture meter. All you have to do is soak the bottom part. Don't put that in the water because that's not actually waterproof. Put the cone sensor section in the water. This has already been soaked, so I don't need to do it. We can use it straight away, but when you first get it, you just have to soak it for about 2 hours to make sure that ceramic cone is completely penetrated with moisture to get accurate readings. And then screw it back on so it's totally full. You only just see maybe a slight air bubble, and you know it's completely full. Push it all the way to get to about there. Now usually these sensors, you have to allow about 20 minutes to get an accurate reading, but we should be able to get some idea. As you can see, it's 0, right? So after about half an hour, it'll slowly start to move to where the accurate moisture level of the soil is. Now the lower the number, the wetter it is. The higher the number, the drier it is. And we want to aim for between 85 and 120. 120 being on the slightly dry side, 85 being on the kind of getting a little bit too wet. I'm going to go back to... Yeah, so at this point we've got 5.5. After I've emptied this can, we'll have 5.5 litres. Got a bag of certified biodynamic barley straw here. If anyone's interested, they can hit me up and I'm happy to sell you some. I've got a lot of it at the moment. It's high in nutrient content, so it's not just some dry grass or whatever that you might find from certain stores. It's actually a very effective, nutrient dense mulch. It's awesome for your living soil. Yeah, so here we can see now the moisture meter is starting to increase in the number. So see, we're at 78, and like I said, 85 is kind of the wettest that we want it. So the fact that we get creeping up towards that number is pretty good. And when you first plant in, it's okay if it's a little bit wetter, because obviously it's going to slowly kind of dry out a little bit, after you first planted it, before you water it again. And especially with mulch, it will hold that moisture for a long time. Might not be another 4 or 5 days before you water again. And this all depends on how hot it is, how humid it is. And of course, if your plants start to get bigger, if your container's smaller, all those factors play a role in how much water this is going to require. So, let's plant the seedling. Put it over here. Got a little beetroot seedling. It's an heirloom certified organic beetroot seedling from Ceres Nursery in Brunswick. Highly recommend them. Here's some mycorrhizal fungi inoculant. Growing in containers, it can be quite difficult to inoculate your soil with mycorrhizal fungi. It's such an incredibly important component of the soil food web. It's very difficult to just put mycorrhizal fungi inoculant into your soil and hope to keep it there. You have to inoculate at the time of planting. That's the best time to do it, and the benefits are immense. You're going to have a far more efficient root system that's capable of breaking down nutrients and uptaking them as the plant needs it. Fungi, the mycorrhizal fungi, builds an association with the plant and helps make that happen. So it's very beneficial, and it'll be in there forever. You just inoculate it, and the mycorrhizal fungi is in there, and that association will be there throughout the plant's life cycle. I'm just gonna... You can use your hands, you don't have to. Let's see. Yeah. We're at 78, 79. Soil's pretty wet, as you can see, but it's fine. I want to charge it up with that initial moisture and just let it find best soil moisture content that it wants as the plant starts to establish itself. So you want the roots to get direct contact with that mycorrhizal fungi. There we go. Planted. I'm also going to top dress with a little bit of worm casting. Worm casting's full of plant available nutrients in the actual solution. It's amazing stuff. And we're going to, the seedling itself actually will get a lot of benefit immediately from this. It reduces stress, deliver some nutrient requirements that the plant needs right away, and it's going to charge your soil up with more microorganisms as well. Especially say if you didn't store your soil too well, if it's been outside for months and the direct sunlight's gotten a bit dry, worm casting can charge it right back up to where it was. Alright, now last thing, the mulch. Once again, I'm happy to help anyone out that wants high quality certified biodynamic barley straw. It's great stuff. Might have the added benefit of some certified organic barley cover crop in there as well. There's quite a bit of barley seed. And it's excellent for building soil structure and encouraging microorganisms in your soil, especially when the seedling is only just emerging. As the barley grows, you can just chop it down and it will again become mulch and feed the soil. And that's how no-till farmers operate. They plant lots of cover crops and that is their primary source of nutrition, which is pretty cool. You don't need much, it's just enough to, especially now, this time of year, it's winter, you know, there's not very intense sunlight that's going to be drying and evaporating water from my soil very fast, so just need a bit to help maintain that soil moisture